9 years ago, I left school and I had huge plans myself. I thought life would just stick to my schedule. Looking back now, there are so many things I would love to tell my younger self. So here are the lessons that I've learned over the years that not only would make this journey easier, but a lot more enjoyable too. So I have always wanted to be an actress. It's always what I've done, it's always what I've been really interested in. And when I left school, I just assumed that life would just take off and that would just be my life. And so by about 20, when I realised that wasn't quite the case, I began to be so frustrated and feel like, why is it not happening? Like what can I do to make this work? And it left me feeling so lost and also not really knowing where to direct my attention, because if that wasn't going to work as I wanted it to, then now what do I plan and organise to make it all fit? And I wish I could just tell myself that everything will happen when it's supposed to. I don't need to have a plan, I don't need to have everything figured out, I just need to follow the journey and take inspiration along the way. Yes, it would have been amazing if my life just sorted itself out at the age of 20, but would I have been ready? No. The journey that life has taken me on has been so much more interesting. I've met so many more people. I've lived experiences that I would have never expected to experience. And because of that, I've become such a more outgoing person. Now, I know if I was my 16-year-old self again and I was watching this, I'd be telling myself, no, I am absolutely ready as I am. But some of the skills and things I've learned over the years have taken time, and it's been a build of a process. Like my confidence. I didn't have a lot of confidence back at school. Well, people might have thought I did, but I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. And it's taken time and different experiences within work or different experiences outside of work that I've really been able to build my own self-identity. And at 16 years old, I definitely didn't have that. Now, I know that's not the same for everyone, and confidence might be something that someone else is really good at, but I know for me that was something I had to build on. If I had got everything that I wanted at 16, I wouldn't have had some of the most amazing experiences of my life so far. I've lived in London, I've lived in Cardiff, I've lived in Newcastle, all these places that I probably wouldn't have even experienced if everything had happened as I thought it should. And because of that, I learned about myself and things that I absolutely love that I would never have thought about back then. That leads me on to my next point, that throughout life you will have so many ideas of things that you want to do. And at school I feel like I always thought that I would just want to be this one thing, and after that I realised there are so many more things in this life that I want to do, and although I still want to do those things, my whole vision of life has completely grown, and that is so much more exciting to me. You're not defined by the one thing that you learn to do at school. For example, I have learned that I absolutely love learning about law of attraction, and I love teaching it as well. And because of that, me and my mum have set up a podcast where we talk all about the teachings of law of attraction. And I would have never have discovered that about myself, nor actually would I have worked in TV for 4 years, which has given me so many more life skills such as networking, and that actually has given me a lot of my confidence. And these things I couldn't have planned. I couldn't have said to myself that that's what you're going to do, because to be honest, I didn't even know that that was possible back then. Life can be so much more exciting than what you can imagine, and I know for myself at 16, although I did have such big dreams, I also was very limited to how that would look. And now the vision that I have is so much bigger because of the experiences that I've had. Now the next one is, you didn't come into this life to do a job you hate. We all have the power and ability to manifest anything we want, and we also have our own guidance system inside telling us which direction we want to go. You know when you get that pain of jealousy when you see someone doing something you want? I know I've definitely had it before, where I've seen people get things, and especially with Instagram, it's so easy to see other people do really well, and you think, why is that not happening for me? I remember when I first finished college and I used to think like, why is my life not taking off and theirs looks so amazing, and they literally did the same thing as me. It would become really unmotivating and deflated me quite a lot, and it would take me a while to really try and regain confidence in myself. And now I know that that jealousy and that pain that I felt inside of me wasn't saying that I couldn't do it. It was actually basically like your own Google Maps inside of you telling you where you should focus your direction, because that is something that you want. And the reason why you're feeling negative emotions is because you're not connected to the higher source that knows that you're able to do it. It has every belief and faith in you, but you're just not connecting with that at this time. So listen to those desires, they are there for a reason, and could help you choose what sort of career you'd like to do if that's something that you're struggling with. And also remember, if you're seeing someone do something, that means it's very much possible for you to do too. You may feel that you have to compete with people to get what you want, and that if they had it, that you can't get it too, but that is not true. Since everyone has the ability to manifest, it is not possible for someone to get something that was meant for you. The universe or the higher power or the source, whatever you believe in, is listening to every request that you make. And usually the reason why you're not seeing it right in front of you is because you're not allowing. I know definitely sometimes I'll think I've been asking for something, but I'm not seeing it yet. And that's usually, one, because I'm probably focusing on the fact that it's not here. Do not focus on the fact that it's not here. Always focus on it being here in front of you. And I am not allowing it in. I'm not lining up with that version of myself that has that. And remember, sometimes it may take time, but that is not for you to worry about. It will come when it's ready and when it is right for you. But for now, all you need to do is to align with what you want by focusing on the positive things that are already going on in your life. Okay, so the next one is definitely something I've learned more recently, and that is it's okay to go backwards. But you're not going backwards, you're never going backwards, because you can't take away the experiences and the lessons that you've already had. So I was working in TV, and I was for 4 years, and I absolutely loved it, and it was really great. I made so many friends doing that, and it was in the industry that I want to work in. But I knew if I'd have stayed in this job, it wouldn't end in the result that I wanted, and I'd always think, what if? And so because of that, I decided to leave, which was scary at the time because I was leaving a well-paid job and I enjoyed it, and really there wasn't really much reason to leave other than the fact that it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was very comfortable in the position, and I was really starting to build a great network and find very frequent work. But I knew that me looking back in 10 years time would really regret not following what really excited me, which has always been acting. And people will always be willing to tell you their thoughts on things, or whether they think it's a good idea or their dreams for you, but only you know what's really right for you and the things that you want to accomplish. It was quite difficult at first, drowning the noise out of other people's opinions, because a lot of things were coming to me that people would be trying to encourage me to take, but I knew that it was not the right decision for me, and it's always something that I can go back into, but right now I know that there's other things that I want to try and do. Now for some people this might look completely different, and also there's other circumstances that might make this more easy or difficult for you, but only you know when it's right to move forwards in the way that you know how. And it's okay if it takes a longer time than you originally thought it would. Sometimes it will, sometimes you'll have things happen that miraculously surprise you. But something that can keep you feeling really positive about this change is that you're never going to look back and say what if when you get older. You'll always be grateful that you took the risk anyway. When I was 16, I remember having this rule book in my mind that would say, if I've not made it, whatever made it means, by 20, then I have failed. And I would have so many rules and goalposts for my life that really now I've realised none of it matters. Last year when I decided to go back to acting training, it really was a big light bulb moment for me, because before that I thought to myself, I'm never going to go back and train anymore. I've done all that, that's out of my life, I don't need to do that. But then I started to realise that no, that was the right option for me, and actually by doing that it's going to progress me further quicker, and when I get to where I want to be, I'm going to be so much more than what I could without it. So I would definitely remind myself that there are no rules for how life should look. Everyone lives very differently because of their own circumstances and their own wants and needs, and you don't need to live by this expectation that either you have on yourself or others have on you. Just get rid of it. I wish I definitely did, because now I look back and think that is so silly, and yeah, I just wish that I could say, just relax, just chill, everything will work out perfectly. So I remember going to a performing arts college. Now, when I was 16, 17, 18, I really had no confidence when it came to myself and my belief in myself. And I would hide in the corner when it came to singing lessons and dance. I would always just define myself as not a dancer, or I can't dance, I'm not very good. And to be honest, compared to the other people that had trained a lot longer than me, yeah, I couldn't compared to them. But I lived by this definition of myself for so long, and I just would never allow myself to try because I'd said, that's it, I can't do it. And now I wish that I didn't do that, because now I absolutely love singing and I love dance, but I never allow myself to just learn and just take on the experience of learning, because I thought I had to be perfect before I'd even started. And I wish I could just tell myself to just let go of all expectation. It doesn't matter if you're rubbish, you hadn't even done it by then anyway, and even if I had, who really cares what other people think? Everyone else's opinions are just holograms. You have to look at them that they're all living in your world and you don't even know what they're thinking, and their opinion is not your business. But it can be quite comforting to me now to know that everyone is just living their life by the way that they've defined it and the way that they've seen it through their experiences, and you will never ever know what they are really thinking about you. So rather than stress yourself out about it or try and focus on those things, just let it go and think, they probably won't even remember anyway. No one is really that bothered about you, and even though sometimes I still have to remind myself, it's definitely something that comforts me. And lastly, we all have so many skills that different obstacles bring up over time, and we might not have experienced it yet. The things that we think are too much about ourselves usually are our biggest blessings and what makes us unique. I used to think I was too intense for people, especially when it came talking about motivational stuff. I would always go on massive tangents about things, and now I realise that that was because I have a deep desire to help people, and I really want to encourage people to live the best lives possible. And at school I used to always think, oh, they won't care about that, they want, like, I'm just being too intense. Yeah, at school that was probably not my best environment because there wasn't people ready for that. But now I can look at that and see it as such a gift. Another thing that I remember thinking was when I was probably more primary school is I'd love to be the centre of attention. I'd love to be in the games and play princesses and all that and be the main one. And I probably would annoy people at times, but now I know that is because I want to be in the limelight. I want to reach lots of people, and these things about us that might feel like are too intense and people can't cope with are actually kind of signs that that is where we should be looking at when it comes to what we want to do with our lives. We all have something unique and special about us that we should celebrate. Actually, probably when we're younger, we're more in touch with that. Now, I want to leave you with a thought. What is something that you think that you were too much of when you were at school or even more recently? And how can you turn it around to be something that is unique and special about you? Were you too confident or too loud or too sensitive? Whatever that is, have a think of how you can turn that around, and also leave a comment to help inspire other people. I'm going to be talking all about this kind of stuff over on my channel a lot more, about the law of attraction, self-development, and share a bit of my life with you as well. So I really hope you come and join the journey. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.